NBL Nation, what is up? Welcome to CoachTy's Corner, episode number 3. Try to get a few more guests for you guys this week. We do have a special guest coming up here in about half an hour, and he's a guy that not a lot of you guys hear from, so I figured he'd be a perfect guest. And he also wanted to come on the show because he has a few choice things to say. Guess he's been in an honorary mood as of late, so in about 25 minutes, we'll be welcoming ABNTX 713 to the show, a.k.a. the New York Jets. So definitely should be interesting because, according to him, he's not very happy with the cookie smacker. So you're going to hear it here first, folks, his grievance. Anyways, before we go ahead and kick the show off and talk on our football and our normal strategy, we want to take a few minutes to address real life. Basically, unless you guys are under a rock, I'm sure you guys are well aware of by now the tragedy that occurred and took place in Connecticut. And honestly, it's a very traumatic tragedy, so I just want to spend a few minutes speaking on it. I know a lot of us in the league are fathers, or we have kids, or we were kids, or we have nieces or nephews, or whatever the case may be. So this is a tragedy that whether or not you're from Connecticut, it affects the country. And my thoughts on this shooting, then, are, when I first heard the news, honestly, I was horrified, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys are. I mean, a shooting of this nature is tragic regardless of who the victims are. But when you find out that you're talking about kids from kindergarten to 4th to 5th grade, you think about these innocent kids. You think about the fact that these are kids that never got to experience their teenage years. These are kids that never got to get their driver's license, never got to get married, never got to graduate high school, never got to go to college, never got to own their own home. The magnitude of the tragedy just really, really hits home that much more. And you can't help as a person with compassion and feelings to sit back and think, why would anybody do something like this? The first thing everyone's going to want to do is look at the gun laws and attack the NRA and look to put legislation in place to prevent this from happening. And I was discussing this with the wife, and I was telling her, I said, at the end of the day, that's not the issue. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Now, we can take all the guns off the streets and make it illegal to own handguns. The problem is, it's not going to stop the bad guys from getting guns. All it's going to do is stop innocent homeowners from getting weapons to protect themselves in case of a break-in. I do agree that there definitely needs to look to be some type of legislation toward automatic weapons. No one needs to own a MAC-10. No one needs to own an Uzi, okay? There's no value in owning those types of weapons. No one hunts with an Uzi, okay? You can ask Spud and you can ask Benny, the hunters in our little clan here. I'm sure when they go out to shoot deer, they don't take an Uzi out there, okay? You don't need an Uzi to stop a burglar in your home. So I get banning automatic weapons, but actual small caliber firearms, I see no good or no merit in banning these for the simple fact that, like I said, criminals are still going to have access to them, and it's not going to stop these types of crimes from occurring. I mean, drugs are illegal in most states, with the exception of marijuana now, which is legalized in a few states. It doesn't stop drug activity. People don't stop smoking crack because crack's illegal. People don't stop, using meth or cocaine or crystal or anything like that. So at the end of the day, a gun law is actually not addressing the problem. But that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, I just think it's a sad epidemic right now that the country's going into. I remember when the Colorado movie shooting happened during Batman, and it really shocked me because the first thing I thought was, I love going to the movies. And whenever I go to the movies, I'm thinking, okay, I got 10 minutes before the movie starts. We go ahead and grab me a little pizza there. We go ahead and give me some popcorn, give me a big drink, let me get some candy, and I'm good to go. I don't think to myself, okay, when I'm in the movie theater, let me check for emergency exits in case some nut runs the big here with a choker mask on and he tries to shoot and kill everybody. I mean, you just don't think that. You go to the movies to relax. It's a place of leisure. It's not a place for nuts to run up in and shoot the place up. And again, when I go to the movies, I'm thinking about the movie I'm going to watch, I'm thinking about the snacks I'm going to eat, I'm thinking about settling down to enjoy myself. I'm not thinking I have to go there with a weapon to watch my back I'm not thinking that I need to know where the emergency exits are. And likewise, I can also say the same thing for this shooting. Okay? I have 2 daughters. I don't never think to myself, when I send my daughters to school, I wonder if I'm going to get a call from the school saying, hey, your kid has been involved in a tragic shooting. You don't think when you're dropping your kids off, you're not going to see them again. As Americans, that's not the type of stuff I need to be concerned with myself with. Life is hard enough. The job is hard enough. And if I got a call that works saying, hey, my kid's been involved in a tragic shooting, there's some consequences and repercussions. And it's just sad and unfortunate that these problems exist today. And I know that these gun shootings are becoming a mass epidemic. Columbine, Virginia Tech, Colorado, Connecticut. I mean, it's getting to a point where it can affect anybody at any time in any state. I don't know exactly what can be done about it. I don't have the answers. I know that it's a tragic epidemic. I know that it stings us all as Americans. I don't care what state you're in. I don't care what your beliefs are. It's just a senseless tragedy that just leaves us all wondering what in the world is going on here. And it seems to be getting worse. So my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of the senseless violence in Connecticut. And I'm hoping that these types of incidences kickstir and start some type of movement to do something to limit these types of incidences from happening. Now, what that is, I don't know. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't be Coach Ty. I'd be some politician somewhere making a difference. But since I'm just Coach Ty, I don't have those answers. That's about the extent of that take. So, again, just want to have a moment of silence and think about the victims in Connecticut. And we'll try to lighten the show up now, and we will move on to NBL. So, cool little tip for you. It's not so much a tip, and it's not necessarily a gameplay tip, but I recently made a trade with Jay Garut, who is the owner of the Giants. And I got Hakeem Nicks from him, and I got Justin Tuck, and I also got, who else did I get? Justin Tuck. I got Hakeem Nicks. Oh, and I got Steven Tulloch back, the middle linebacker. In return, I traded John Beeson. I traded Golden Tate, a first-round draft pick from the draft that just passed, and a second-round pick. Now, the reason I bring all this up, it's old news, is because when I got Hakeem Nicks and I started playing with him, I noticed that Hakeem Nicks had on a weird uniform I hadn't seen before. He had on like a funky neck brace. He had on a weird helmet. He had on his visor. He looked like a robot. And I always wondered how in the heck that was. So I was talking to Jay Garut the other day. He asked me, hey, how do you like Nicks? I said, I'm loving him. And he said, what do you think about the uniform? I said, it's weird, but I like it because it's different. He goes, I'm surprised you didn't notice. And I told him I did. And he's like, yeah, you can edit your guys' uniforms. So last night, I went into Connected Careers mode to attempt to look and try and see how he did this. And I want to share it with you guys in case you guys want to fool around with it. It's nothing major. It's just something funky. It's just something different. So if you go to personnel under career connected modes, if you go into personnel and you click on rosters, your whole team shows up. If you click on your player, it's going to give you several options. It's going to give you the option to release that player. It's going to give you the option to view that player's card. It's going to give you the option to view that player's stats. The last option, when you click on that player under roster, it's going to ask if you want to edit the player. Well, if you go under edit player and you click on that player, it's going to show your player and it's going to give you 3 different screens worth of options of things you can do to edit your players. So obviously, me being the Lions and having Megatron, I'm like, if anybody should look like a robot, it shouldn't be Knicks, it should be Calvin. So I fooled around with it, and I went in there yesterday, and I edited Megatron. And now he literally looks like a Megatron. He looks like Megatron from the old Decepticons Transformers cartoon. All white, he looks robotic. So I got him and Knicks decked out. And I think it looks pretty cool. And what I also think is pretty cool is that we don't know from playing the game sometimes the time when the guys make plays, the camera zooms in and it shows your guy. So I know it's not going to freak out my opponents when the camera zooms in on Megatron and Knicks after a catch or a play, and they've got this weird garb on, this weird uniform. So it's something fun to do. It's not going to change anybody's game. It's not going to help your game anyway. It's just something cool and fun to do. We all put a lot of time into this. We all enjoy the league. We all love the league. So I don't know, any little extra thing. You guys, anybody that has me on their friends list sees that I'm on the PlayStation all the time. So, it's one of them times, it was late, I don't know, probably 3 in the morning, and I'm sitting there fooling around with it, and I'm having fun with it, and just go ahead and pass that on to you guys. I didn't know until Che Guru told me about a day or two ago, so we're going to pass that on to you guys. Now that we've got that out the way, I also want to share another tip. And the tip, basically, it's not a tip. It's more of something I think we all go through playing Madden. And recently, as you guys know, I kind of wasn't feeling things in the league. And also recently, Chicago Tuck, owner of the Minnesota Vikings, has also hit that same rut. And any one of you guys that plays Madden long term, you guys know what I'm talking about. You get to a point where it seems like your playbook is stale. It seems like your schemes are dried up. It seems like they're ineffective. You start to doubt yourself. Well, what do? We continue to play more games. And you lose games. And you lose them in every way possible. You get blown out in some games. You lose some games close. You get mad in some games. And what I mean by saying get maddened is you have those games where you guys drop wide open passes, your defenders drop interceptions that they should easily make, fumbles happen to you, things don't work their way, and you start to press even more. What do? You continue to laugh even though you're frustrated. You continue to play even though you're frustrated. You think that the answer to solving this problem is to play even more games, so you start playing a bunch more online ranked. And the more you play and the more you press, the worse it seems to get until you get to a point where you're just not having fun playing the game no more. The next thing you know, you're going no fan, and you're showing up at your local GameStop, looking to cash in the game for $35, and you're ultimately frustrated. I think if you've played Madden for a long time, if you play in leagues, you play a lot of online ranks, I don't care who you are, you're going to hit that wall. And what I want to talk about is how you break through that wall. Because at the end of the day, we all love this game. So it's not a matter of we don't like the game. It's a matter of what can we do to get past that point and start enjoying the game again and getting productive. And it's real simple what I do. And what I do is I shut it down. I don't quit. I don't resign. I simply shut it down. I stop lagging games. Well, first of all, I analyze the problem. And I try to determine, A, is the problem mental with me, or is it something, or do I just not like the game anymore? And inevitably, after a tough loss, I'm pissed, and I might want to think to myself it's because I don't like the game anymore, but it's BS. It's because I'm frustrated because of what's going on in the game. And I'm not talking about the way the game plays. I'm talking about things that happen to me while I'm playing people. Well, once I get to that point, I realize, hey, you love this game. No matter what you say, you love to compete. You love this league. My next step is, well, okay, I got to stop the bleeding here. I can't afford to string together 3 or 4 losses. I mean, it's different than online ranked. You go online ranked, you play 2 games, you win 2. You play 3 in a row after that, and you lose 3 in a row. It sucks. But the most you lose, maybe, I don't know, 27 to 40 experience points, not experience points, skill points. That sucks, but it doesn't really affect nothing because you can very easily turn right back around and win 5 in a row and you're good money. Now you're on the plus side of the skill points. However, when you play league games and you lose 3 in a row, that can end your season. It's serious business. You lose 3 or 4 in a row, you're in a tough division, you're 0-4, maybe there's no coming back from that. So you need to be really careful and understand when you're in the mix of a bad slump, what you need to do to break out of it. What I like to do is, the first thing I like to do is step away from the game. Okay? I believe in momentum in that. I believe in it during the game, and I believe in it in the season from game to game. When you're not doing well, we all tend to press. Either you're going to try to do things that you normally don't do. Like if you're a runner, you're going to try to throw your way out of a slump. If you're a passer, you're going to try to run your way out of a slump. And we're going to try to play more games because we think we need to tweak our scheme. We think it's our execution. The fact of the matter is it's not your execution. It's your mentality. It's the way you're approaching the game. It's a fundamental breakdown of lack of confidence in what you're doing. And when you go into a game feeling like you can't win, when you go into a game feeling like one bad thing happened to you in the first quarter and now your game is over, it's self-fulfilling prophecy, folks, and you're going to lose, and that's what it is. You think you're going to lose, so now you will lose. Because when something bad happens to you, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to abandon your principles, you're going to abandon what you do, and you're not going to play to win anymore. You're playing not to lose or not to get blown out. Well, the game's over at that point. You might as well go ahead and send that friendly quiz and off to concede, because whether or not you actually play or finish that game, you've conceded. Because once you break down mentally, physically, it's over. Because in my opinion, Madden is about 90% mental and 10% execution. There's a fine line between good and great. And what I've noticed is the great players in our league, they are the mentally toughest sons of guns we have in our league. Okay? I play Candyman frequently. I play him more than anybody. He plays him more than anybody. We play each other so much, we know our rosters inside out. He knows what I'm going to do. I know what he's going to do. And these games are knocked down, dragged out, brutal defensive battles. They always come down to turnovers. The last 3 or 4 times I played Candy after the game, in which he won, he hit me up and he said, dude, I thought you had me. Because the game was that tight. Momentum was quote-unquote on my side. But I bring that up to say, Candy wound up winning those games. He got turnovers to win in his favor. I can say whatever excuses I want. I can say, hey, I got BS. I can say, hey, you know, he got Madden love, I didn't. The fact of the matter was, I'm a strong believer in one of the reasons why Candy won those games is because mentally he was tougher than I was. He didn't break. Okay? When he experienced a situation where a drive didn't go his way, he got stopped, he stuck to it. When he seen me come storming back and I had all momentum, he could have said, okay, Ty's going to win, it's over. No, he stuck to his game plan, he did what he did, and he hung around long enough to get one of those breaks to go his way. So in addition to the break going his way, he helped make that happen because he stuck to what he did. He didn't panic. He didn't start trying to do something different. He stuck to what he did. He played his same defenses and he waited for me to break and make a mistake. Okay? He executed the same way. And I believe that there's a lot to be said for guys that can do that. So, going back to what I was saying, at the end of the day, when you're in these slumps, I feel like one of the best things you can do is to step away from the game. Don't lab. Don't press. Because if you start labbing, you're going to try to figure out what's wrong with your game. You're going to start trying to find new plays. You're going to start trying to do new things. You're going to want to scrap your playbook. You're actually not going to get anything out of a lab session. And when you lab, you should get something out of it. Fun, experience, knowledge, something new, enthusiasm, optimism, whatever you want to call it, because you're feeling good. When you go into a lab session and you're as pissed off and frustrated as you would be during a game, there's a problem. Stop playing online ranked games during this time. Matter of fact, don't put Madden in. Heck, honestly, maybe don't even jump in the chat for 3 or 4 days. Step away from the game. Like the police say, there's nothing to see here, folks. People move on. Okay? Play a different game. Play Call of Duty if you like Call of Duty. Play NBA 2K. Spend time with the family. Watch SportsCenter. Do anything but play the game. And after 3-4 days, you'll be surprised how you'll be itching to play again. All of that bad feeling you have about the game seems to go away because you missed the game. You want to play. And when you miss the game and you want to play, when bad things happen, you tend to take them in stride. You feel confident. Hey, I'm not worried about it. It's the first quarter. I can come back. Okay? So that's my advice on what I do to try to handle those situations and what I do to try to break out of those ruts. Because they will happen to you, they happen to me, and they happen to anybody that plays this game for a long, extended period of time. It just is what it is. So that's kind of where I go mentally and what I do when I'm having issues with the game and when I'm having issues with just not feeling things. You know, a lot of that is mental, and a lot of it has to do with you not believing in what you do anymore. You don't believe that even though you can run the ball well, you need to pass. Even though you can pass the ball well, you need to run. We always want to better our game, so we always want to be perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect Madden player. Anybody can beat anybody. if they play the right game. So a lot of times when you're losing, it's not a matter of you're doing stuff that's wrong. And if you are doing stuff that's wrong, it's because mentally you're pressing. But a lot of times it boils down to you just mentally being tough, sticking to your guns, doing what you believe in, and being patient. And that's just it with us. We're not patient in this game. We want instant results. And we think the world's going to end whenever something bad happens to us. First play of the game, someone comes out, they want to kick off back at 7-0. The mentally tough person goes, man, it's 7-0. 10 minutes have barely elapsed off the clock. I'm good. I got all game. The mentally weak person goes, here we go. You see, this is that bullshit. I'm not going to win. The game's against me. I suck. And now they compound it because they get the ball back now. And the next thing they do is they try to throw a long touchdown. That gets picked off. That's taken back to the house. It's 14-zip and so on and so forth. You guys all know what I'm talking about, so I hope you got it. And I hope you take something from that, and I hope it helps you. At this time, I would like to welcome in our guest. You know, it's ABNTX713. I know him as Dexter. He's the owner of the New York Jets. He's the first you will hear from us in the chat. He felt like he had some things to say, so I'd like to bring him in at this time. So Reggie, bring in our guest.
Yeah, what's going on, Ty? How you doing?
Nothing much. Dexter, how you doing today, man?
All right, chilling. Good. I do have a couple of things I need to say. You know, first of all, I do enjoy playing in the league, and I just want to really just thank you for putting me in the league and, you know, and just really competing with, you know, the different owners and, you know, just enjoying the league or whatever. But I really have a couple of things to say as far as, like, Kofi. I mean, you're a cool dude, but I had your panties so tight up in your ass, you feel me? Because, I mean, you was calling the commissioner and you was calling everybody crying about, oh, I didn't give you commodity, but I was just kind of ticked off about you saying, talking about that you're going to run, our division. Like, you just, you know what I'm saying, top of the division. You just top man, you know, you just Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't even make the playoffs. I didn't even make the playoffs. But, Kofi, man, you know, you just, I mean, you trash, homie. So, I mean, in a good way, respectful way. You feel me? So, I wish you was in my division, you know, so we can see who's going to come on top.
Well, you know what? Those are some very strong words. So let me clarify and clear up a few things for people that may be wondering why is he going at Kofi. Okay. The first comment Dexter made was we had Kofi on the show probably episode 1, which was like 2 weeks ago. And in that episode, when Kofi was talking about his move to the AFC, he mentioned that he was trying to move to the AFC East because he felt if he moved to the AFC East, that he could run and dominate that division. Well, ABNTX, who's Dexter, who is the Jets owner, is in that division, and took exception to that, feeling like if you trying to say that you just going to come to my division and run it, you disrespected my game in a sense. And I don't think you that good. So that's why ABN is making a comment that he felt Kofi is trash and he wants a piece of Kofi. Secondly, for anybody who hasn't been in the chat the last few days, there was a deal made in agreement between the Jets and Denver, who is Kofi, in which Denver would send Brandon Browner, the 6'4" corner, and Brock Osweiler, Kofi's built-up quarterback, to New York Jets for Antonio Cromartie and Tim Tebow. Well, the trade was agreed to, and Kofi had the idea that ABN was not honoring his trade. So he went to the chat and he called the ABN out about not honoring the trade. I was asked to get involved along with Philly. I spoke to ABN yesterday, and ABN told me I always planned on honoring the trade. I'm not going to go back on my word. I simply wanted to string Kofi along for the fact that he's been acting away the last few days, and I don't appreciate it, so I wanted to make him sweat. So that's what ABNTX is referring to when he's basically going at Kofi. So if anybody doesn't know, that's why. But like ABN said, it's not mean-spirited. It's not I hate Kofi and I have a personal problem with Kofi. It's as a player and competitor, I want to kick Kofi's ass, and I want to see Kofi go down as a player and competitor. So I'm just going to clear that up. So do you have any other comments on the Kofi situation, ABN?
Nah, I don't really have any more, comments on Kofi. I mean, Kofi is a real good dude, you know what I'm saying? And I had a couple of conversations with him. So, I mean, we good, but hopefully next season he come in my division so we can see who's going to come out on top.
Hey, you and Kofi actually play each other this season, don't you?
Yeah, we actually play week 11. So me personally, I can't wait till we play till week 11. I already put it in the chat box. I hope everybody get ready because it's gonna be exciting, and I'm gonna be on top, and Cooper gonna be at the bottom.
You know what? Hey, CoachTy's corner loves this kind of talk. You know what? It's good for the league. It's good to get people competitive, and it's good to get people involved. And I'm just glad Kofi made the comments he made because that made you come on his show. So I'm not saying I'm glad he felt he disrespected you, but I'm saying that I'm glad he listened, and I'm glad that his comments were able to get you to come on the show because that's what we're trying to do is have some fun, stir it up, and get some people on. But now I want to explain to a lot of folks that don't know, I've been knowing ABNTX now for a year and a half. I actually met him through a mutual friend of me and his. Last year I was playing a ton of online writing games. It was the first time I really started playing online writing games because normally I played franchise mode with myself. I played with a bunch of my buddies around my neighborhood, and we played each other personally, and that was the extent of my Madden experience. I wasn't going to live tournaments and competing. I wasn't in any leagues. I didn't know the online community existed. In my little Madden world, it was all about, I got the game, hey, friend down the street, you want to play Madden? Yeah, let's play. Hey, kid, come over Saturday, we'll have some beers, we'll eat some pizza, and we'll play the game. And I had fun. Man, when I found out there was an online community and I started looking at videos and I started seeing leagues, man, I lost my damn mind. Well, and I couldn't get enough online rank. So last year I played a ton of online rank and I met a guy named TK, and he was in Cali in Southern California, and I was in Phoenix, but I lived in Southern Cali at that time, so we got to talking after the game, and we added each other to each other's friend list, and we started playing each other a bunch of times. And one day, this guy TK comes to me, he's like, hey, I got another guy who I play with, he's pretty cool, and, he likes to play like us, and you'll get some good games. The guy I was talking about was ABNTX. Well, I played him a few times. We had fun. We put each other on his friend list, and every time we would see each other online, we play each other. I mean, it was to a point where I'd be at work or he'd be at work, and he'd be like, hey, you gonna be on later on tonight? Yeah. Okay, I'll see you after work, we get on the sticks. Well, when I first started playing ABNTX, I was smashing him. This was fun for me. I know it wasn't fun for him. As we started getting toward the end of night 12, it went from I was smashing him to roll. We had some tight games. Then it went from I was smashing him to really having some tight games to, yo, this cat just beat me. What the hell's going on? I gotta go back to the lab. And then we just started going at each other. Well, at this time, I just joined Gridiron Gamers. ABN was a cool dude. I told him about the league. He liked the idea of it. He thought it'd be fun. He joined, and the rest is history. Now, I bring up all of this because the point I'm trying to make is when I first met ABN, his game was not nowhere near as good as it is now. And I'm going to tell you guys, I arrived him last night, and my girl was talking to me as we started playing, and I took ABN lightly, and next thing you know, it was 14-0. First pass out the gate hit me with a bomb for about 70 yards. And then right after that, I get the ball back, I throw a kick, and he scores us on his 14-0. I told my girl, hey, man, you know what? You need to lock that shit up right about now. See, you need to stop that madness and shut that noise down because my man is trying to go up my throat. And I gotta put something on him real quick. Long story short, wound up having a great game. I wound up coming back. I wound up winning. Game went down to the last possession. And I told him after the game last night, I noticed his game is a hell of a lot better. It's better than I've ever seen it. And it almost makes me understand now why he beat Jimmy. Because when I seen the score that the Jets had against Kansas City, I said, oh, shit. Because we all know Jimmy's a pretty good player. And he didn't just lose. He was beaten pretty soundly by the Jets. So my next question after that long setup is, what can you say, Dexter, is the single biggest reason that your game has improved as much as it has?
Well, I just think it's just improved by actually playing with different owners, in the league and not really even paying attention to just the online play. and just keep practicing in the lab and just keep working at it. And I fail, but I keep coming and I keep coming. So I just enjoy it enough to to make my game a little bit more better, and just to critique it as best way I know how.
So you played a ton of online, like I said last year when I met you. And I know you haven't played as much online now, but you're loving the leagues. What do you think the difference is for you in between playing league play and online ranked game play? What do you think the differences are?
And the difference is just on just the league play is a lot more better. I mean, you can't do all the things that you do on a regular lobby play, as far as you jumping up in the air, ball hogging, like you said last week. The man is better than the man is better than the person on the league game, and it's just crazy. But I personally just like league football, and the owners we playing and we having a good time, talking noise and just enjoying it. And whoever wins, I mean, that's who wins. But whoever loses, I mean, I feel sorry for you.
You know what? I got to say, I agree with you. The biggest thing for me that I really enjoy about it is that, for the most part, when you play another one of those owners, you don't have to worry about a manual turbo blitz. You don't have to worry about some cheese dick trying to block your kick, and as soon as you snap the ball, you got to kick it. Like, I just like going in and saying, hey, if I play hard and I laugh hard and I have a good scheme, I can be successful, as opposed to I have to worry that when this guy pauses the game, he's using pain and evil to get my IP address so he can decently glitch me and crap like that. So, and on top of that, playing the same guys over and over in the league, I look forward to certain games. Like the way you're looking forward to playing Koof, you get your schedule and you see a certain name, it's like, you know what, I want to play that guy. Either I owe him an ass kicking, or B, I've never played him before, and I like to see the way that guy plays. So I definitely enjoy it. So now, let me ask you this. A lot of people are not familiar with you, and a lot of people may not have had a chance to lab with you or play you in your checks. How would you describe your game play on offense and defense? If you was given a scouting report on yourself, and you don't have to give a plays, I'm not asking for plays, how would you describe your game play on offense and defense? In other words, what do you like to do, and what kind of game can people expect if they play you?
I really not too much on just telling, my scheme of offense and defense, but I can say I do play the 3-4, and I do love the blitz on the outside and to the inside. So my offense, I like to throw the ball long. So I like to throw the ball long, and I like to run hard. So I probably say like under 2 man, something like that. Zone, you can actually really just stop me like that. So somebody.
Got you. So let me ask you this: have you had a chance to play New England yet, fighting Phillies, either last year or this year?
Say it one more time.
Have you had a chance to play the New England Patriots owner who was fighting Phillies? Have you played him last year or this year yet?
Oh, I played him last year. He kicked my ass. I was just like, damn. I mean, he's doing all these formations, and he going left and he going right. So I really didn't appreciate that. So I'm making sure when we get ready to play next week, I'm going to make sure I whip his ass, and I want him to hit me. Okay. And please do not run your receiver in the middle of the field, because Landry is going to break your ass.
I love it.
He's going to break
it. What is your prediction for your division, AFC East? Who do you see winning that division?
I think it's really just me and, the Pats. It's just me and him. That's going to be a good competition because of Miami and the Bills. I mean, I can just throw a ground of nickels at them. I mean, they just at the bottom. But just me and the Pats, though, I just think we just going to really battle it out. But he started out a little bit quicker than me. He's 5-0. So I'm just trying to give him my, a good L and a good ass kicking because he needed it, So I ain't trying to let him win a division like he did last year. So I'm just trying to take that and move him to the playoffs.
No, I got you. And the reason why I brought him up is because I didn't realize how good he was either. I seen him the other day in the chat, and he was looking for a lobby game, and I told him I'd play. And granted, I was trying a new playbook, but I don't want to use that as an excuse. I think in that game, he thoroughly dominated me. Okay? And I can sit here and say because I had a new playbook all I want, but it was the kind of game, the way I played, the way I felt like even if I was in my normal playbook, I wouldn't have had a lot of success. He was stifling on defense. And on offense, he had one of these offenses that was hard to stop. He ran a ton of no huddle on me. I didn't adjust well to it. Again, because I wasn't really familiar with the plays. He just had me off guard. Everything I did, he seemed to counter me. But the moral of that story is I was just very impressed with how good of a player he was. Fulgras was saying he would have told me that Fighter was a pretty good player, and I believe it after that game. So knowing he's in your division, that's why I brought him up, because you're right. You guys are going to be between you guys over there in that division. So I just wanted your take and your thoughts on Fighting Phils. So at this time, do you have any other comments or anything you want to say to anybody else about anything else in the league?
Well, if I'm playing you this season, I'm kicking your ass. So I'm trying to go to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody, has good sportsmanship or whatever. That's cool, good understanding. But I'm kicking your ass. So do not run up the middle and do not run the ball, because I'm going to break you. So that's all I got to say. And thanks, Ty, for giving me an opportunity to be on the show.
No problem, brother. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I know Kofi, and you know Kofi. Kofi ain't going to take this laying down. So I'm thinking next week, if we're up for it again, we may have to have Kofi and ABNTX both on the show. Because I'm pretty sure that hears this, he's going to want to have his take. So instead of going back and forth, I'm thinking I just bring both of you on the show next week, and we have Kofi versus ABN way before week 11.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be very, very exciting.
I agree. So thanks for your time, brother. I know you're at work. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I also have another guest this time I'd like to bring on, LHS Lancer, who is the new owner of the Washington Redskins. He's a new owner in the league, and he asked to be on the show, and we have him on right now. So, again, thanks to ABNTX. And at this time, Reggie, I'd like to bring in Mr. LHS Lancer. Hello, Lancer, are you there? Reggie. Hello?
Hello?
Is this Lancer?
Yes.
Hey, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulty. I don't know if it was your phone or my phone, but I couldn't hear you for a second. How you doing today, man?
Good, man. Good.
Good. Glad you could join us on the show today. Very glad you could join us on the show today. I thought I only have one guest, but definitely have no problems having two guests on. So the way we do things here is basically I try to lay this out interview style. I try to ask you certain questions so that everybody in the league gets a chance to know you, and we get your take on the game and how you like to do things and how you like to play. We get a feel for you. So you up for an interview?
Yeah, you sure? Why not?
All right. First of all, you are the new owner of the Redskins.
Yeah.
First question I'd like to ask is, it's a two-part question. How did you come to join our league, one? And two, what are your thoughts about the league so far?
I found it on Madden Daddy. I've always had a Madden Daddy because I was in the league before, but it got canceled, so I just kept looking, and I found it. And the league's pretty good, bunch of cool guys around, and I think I fit in pretty well.
I think so, too, so far. You're the Washington Redskins. I think you played 2 games. I think you lost one and you won one. Is that correct?
Yeah.
What do you think about your team, the Redskins?
Right now, I'm gelling with them right now. RG3, I'm liking it, and I brought in Percy Harvin. Just a lot of speed. That's what I like.
What fan are you? What team are you a fan of in real life?
The Patriots and the Redskins.
Great, and that's why I asked. That's great because that's just a real cool thing when you can sit there and play with the team that you enjoy. I think that you're a fan of. That's just a real cool thing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, what plans do you have for the Redskins? I know you said you're gelling with them right now. Do you have a few more moves up your sleeve? Or are you waiting to basically, are you good with what you have right now and you're going to see how things go, or do you have a few more tricks up your sleeve?
No, I think I made enough moves by now. I like what I have, so I think I'm going to stay quiet for a while.
So, for folks who don't know, because a lot of people don't know your league, so they don't know anything about your gameplay, describe us your game plan. When I ask people this, I'm not asking you to give up your specific schemes or your money plays, because obviously, I mean, you have to have a strategy, but you're a run-first person, pass-first person. What is your philosophy on defense? What can you say to describe Lancer's game for those of us who haven't played you or don't know how you play?
I pass to set up the run. That's what I do. Out of the shotgun.
I hear you. I do the same thing. A lot of people don't understand that concept because normally regular football, and I hear that you're also a football player in real life, but a lot of people in football, they teach us, because I played ball as well, they teach that you run to set up the pass, but I agree with you. In the real NFL, as well as the game, I actually believe in the other way around. I'm going to open you up with the pass, and then I'm going to sneak those runs, and especially this year with the Infinity Engine, it's pretty hard to sit there and line up and power run all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned in the chat the other day that you actually do play football and that you're looking at a scholarship. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct.
So what position do you play? Do you play offense and defense, or just one side of the ball?
Offense, and I return the ball.
What position do you play on offense?
Slot receiver.
Wow. Has any of your football knowledge of real football carried over to the mat? In other words, is there things you do when you're practicing in real life and playing in real life that fly scheme-wise in Madden to be successful?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's a lot more easier to read the defenses for me because I play offense. So.
Do you entertain any scholarship offers right now?
No. I got accepted to a school already though, and I'm planning on just going there.
Well, I definitely hope to see big things for you. I have a friend of mine. He's one of my lab partners and one of my best friends online in this game. And he actually plays for the Dolphins.
Oh, nice.
He played for the Jags. He played for the Jags and got cut, went to the CFL, and he's actually right now on the Dolphins practice roster. So definitely wishing the best for you and for him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks,
so,
man.
Is there anything that any type of message you want to put out there to the owners, be it a trade proposal, or maybe you want to let the other owners know that your game ain't no joke and you're here to stay and you're planning on making a playoff push? Because I see in the chat the other day you basically guaranteed a playoff spot. So is there anything you'd like to tell the other 31 owners of this league that they can expect from LHS Lancer?
Yeah, I play Philly this week, so it's gonna be a big game. I gotta get the W on that one, divisional game. So we'll see how it goes.
Definitely, because Philly's a beast and a handful. Anybody in the league is playing. Yeah. I'll tell you what, you get that win, you're definitely going to turn a lot of heads. Because, like with any league, everybody has a wait and see it mentality. You know, I can say we love the fact that you're active. We love the fact that you're in the chat. We love the fact that basically you're a big contributor. So right now, everybody's kind of waiting and watching to see what your game does. You want to get everybody's attention, you beat Philly, you'll have everybody's undivided attention, my man.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
All right, man. Is there anything else you'd like to say at this time?
No, not really. You hit it off.
I'll tell you what, brother. Thank you for your time, because we have another guest on the line. So thank you for your time, Lancer. You're welcome on the show anytime.
All right, man.
Take it easy.
You too.
That was LHS Lancer, folks, owner of the Washington Redskins. At this time, we have another guest. Phones are ringing. I'm loving it. The show head buster, a.k.a. the Baltimore Ravens, is back with a vengeance. Reggie, can you bring in Mr. O for show at this time? Hello? O for show, are you there? Hello? Hello, is this O for show?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now. Do you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Great. Hey, definitely good to have you on the show, my man. I thought about before the show started giving you a call, but I said, man, it's too last minute. Because I didn't know if I can get you or not. So I'm glad that you see the number in the chat and you jump in, brother, because I always have great combos with you. You're a great man in mind, and definitely we can talk some good things. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good,
Okay. A lot of people in the league, they may be confused, but not confused. Last year, you were very active in the chat. And this year, not so much. But what a lot of people don't realize is a lot of people, if they don't see you in the chat box every day, they kind of forget about you. Or in their minds, you're not the first person that comes to mind when it comes to contributing. So for those who may have forgotten how devastated you were in the league, you want to open this interview up by basically telling us, a little bit about your game and who your team is and how you play and your philosophies in the game?
Well, I think it was not this last season, but the season before that, in Madden 12, made it to the playoffs. I think I was 15-1. Last season, I believe I know I lost 2 games and had 2 stems, so I think did pretty well last year. Again, lost in the playoffs. So I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of below the radar this year. So, maybe I can make another playoff run and actually do something in the playoffs this year.
I don't think there's no maybes about it. I think anybody that's forgotten, they're going to get reminded real quick. You're off to a slow start, which is very, very unusual for you. Normally, you don't get a first loss till about week 10 or 11. Was the combination of losing Ray Lewis and Ed Reed a hard blow for your team, losing those 2 guys to retirement?
The Ray Lewis thing, that hurt. But I think I did pretty good in the draft this year on replacing Ed Reed. I got some pretty good rookies, strong safeties, and free safeties that's been kind of taking up the slack. I think the slow start comes from, unfortunately, I was out of town. So my first 2 games, I think I was booted on the first 2 games. So I guess my opponents played the computer, so I kind of started off with a 0-2 record. But I played today and played a good game against Pittsburgh, division rival, and got the victory on that game earlier today. So I'm trying to turn it around. I'm at 500 now.
Definitely. I'll tell you this. You didn't miss anything with one of your games because there was an incident in which the Commissioner Philly went to advance the league, and he must have accidentally advanced 2 weeks instead of the regular week. So the whole entire league got simmed for a week, and a lot of players, you were one of them, I was one of them, took sim losses. So whether you was here or not, that same thing would have happened. I was here and I got a sim loss, which definitely hurt because I thought the person I lost to, their roster was nowhere near as good as mine. And to me, if you're simulating a game and you're matching up roster for roster and you're saying, okay, according to this talent, we're going to predict who would win, I'm like, how the hell would I lose? But that's neither here nor there. It happened to everyone. So it's something that we all have to deal with. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, you've been in the AFC, you was in the NFC last year, and the NFC was a beast last year. Your division had to be one of the best divisions in any league on PlayStation, period. You, SL Storm, TD Barrett, and Noel Fan. This year you've been in the AFC. I know you had a ton of great rivalries last year, like you and TD Barrett for Arizona. And I'm starting, not to speak for you, but I'm starting to see that there's the possibility for you to have that same type of rivalry with maybe Pittsburgh and definitely with San Diego. Is there anybody in the AFC that you look at and you say, you know what, I've got to go through that guy to get to where I want to go in the playoffs?
I would say San Diego. I took a tough loss to him in the playoffs, and he played a good game. So I'm glad. Sometimes you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. So I learned a lot from that loss. And that loss actually set me on a big losing streak even online and kind of made me assess how I play the game. So I kind of came up with a new strategy, got a new playbook, and I guess, kind of changed my game based on looking at that loss from San Diego. So big credit to San Diego for winning in the playoffs, but hopefully we can match up again this coming up year in the playoffs.
Definitely. Now, a lot of people, like I said, because you're kind of a low-key guy, may not know this, but you played last year and this year in some of the best online leagues on PlayStation, period. I know last year you was a mainstay in the MSFL, and I believe last year you was in MRL, and I know this year you're in MRL, R-League, and I think another league or two. I'm very impressed with the fact that a guy that plays like MSFL or MRL football loves our league and plays in our league, because our league is not as well known as those leagues. What is your draw or appeal to playing in our league, MBL, after playing in leagues like MSFL and MRL? What is it about our league you enjoy?
Well, I like that you all have the website and the chat room. Like, I haven't really been much in the chat this season, like you said. So I got school and work going on. But hopefully I'll be more involved in the chat now that this is my last weekend of school. I got a month off. So I'll probably be more involved in the chat. But I really like that I can, at work, I can go get in the chat box. I can see my stats. I can see what's going on in the league. Kind of gets me more involved. And a lot of the other leagues, they don't have the website, and it's not as interactive. The competition, is good in the other leagues as well, but it's kind of that interaction that I really like about the NBL.
Definitely glad to hear it, because like I said, those other leagues I mentioned, like MSFL and MRL, they're two of the biggest, most known, best competitive leagues online. So to have a player your caliber is definitely a good coup for us. Now, I don't know if you're on a lot of other people's friends lists. I know you're on mine, and I know we laugh from time to time. But for those who don't know, you play a ton of online ranked games. You did last year, and you're doing it this year. And I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, you're ranked number 505 period on all the PlayStation. Is that correct?
I think I played one more game today after I played my league game, so somewhere around 400 and something.
Now, I bring that up to say this point. I think that shows exactly how good a player you are. I already know, like I said, from labbing you and playing against you and stuff. What do you find more entertaining for you? Because you play a ton of online and you play a ton of leagues. Do you enjoy league play more or online rank more?
I don't know if I like anyone more or the other. I think online games is a good learning process. I never put much stock into, of course I want to be ranked, and if that comes, it comes, but it's not a big priority to me. But I think that playing a lot of ranked games, you start to see a lot of trends, and it helps you pick up on things that people like to do, what's going on. And, as the Madden season evolves, people start to play different ways. So playing a lot of ranked games really gets you out there so you can see what's going on and kind of pick up on tendencies about what people like to do. But I like league play because the wins and losses mean something. Online, you could lose 10 games in a row. You learn what you do, you maybe come up with a new scheme, then you can win 20 games straight in a row. So the wins and losses don't really mean anything online, but they do in the league, and that's what I like about playing in leagues, because the wins and losses, they mean something.
You know what? I couldn't agree more, and it's funny because earlier in the show I actually spoke on that. That was exactly why I said I really love league play. I, like you, enjoy online ranked as well, but you're right, and that's exactly the point I made. I said you can lose 5 in a row online ranked. Yeah, you lose maybe 60 skill points, but you can go on a roll and get them right back. You lose 6 games in a row in the league, your season's over.
Mm-hmm.
It's a done deal.
Every league game is a big game. Every single league game is a big game that you got to get ready for.
You're 100% right. Now, with all of the online rank and all the league play, that's a ton of gameplay. So if there's anybody who's in a knowledgeable position to give out tips or advice, it's definitely you. So let me ask you this. For people out there looking to improve their game, wanting to better their game, what is a guy like you ranked 400 on PlayStation and playing in all the major leagues you play in, what advice could you give somebody on how they could better their game and help take their game to another level?
Well, I guess it kind of all depends on your personality, but the way I like to play is, and the way I kind of found this out is that I think you mentioned it in the last show, is that in this year, turnovers are all over the place. So I guess my biggest tip is you want to find an offense that's going to limit your turnovers. And last year, as well as the year before in the NBL, I try to always be up there in the turnover differential. And I want my quarterback to have a high QBR, quarterback rating. I want to throw touchdowns and no picks. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. So what I did was I started experimenting with just trying to pound the ball out and being really, really conservative. And I think playing that way lost the playoff game for me against San Diego. So what I did was I was like, okay, I can't just, 2 and 3 yards does get first downs, but after a while, when you need a big play, you got to have a big play. So I kind of revised what I'm doing now, and what I want to do is I try to take something that's extremely popular and make somebody defend what they know is going to happen, but not go to that. So everybody knows that streaks from the tight end, that's what it is this year. So if every play that I'm picking when I got 2 tight ends, I'm sending the tight end deep on a streak, you have to respect that. But that's not my primary read. I'm going somewhere else. So I just want to put something out there to make somebody respect something. So if it's 2 streaks or if it's the bench play, whatever you know that's highly effective, take that and then find other reads off of it. And then once they start, either coming down and not playing the streak or not playing the out route, then you just take advantage of that.
I'll tell you what, man, that's definitely some good, sound advice. And I can also vouch for that because I'm the opposite end of that spectrum to where I lean more toward passing to set up the run. But like you said to me, when you play too much of any one style, you're going to have some games where you're good with it and dominate, but you're also going to get exposed to some other games because you're not balanced. So that's definitely some great advice on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, I have a personal question for you. You were known last year, and every time I've labbed with you, for bringing some of the most intense heat on the game. This year, however, he is very, very inconsistent, and the offensive line's AI is so good that unlike last year where you could run one blitz and get to Darryl Woods 30 sacks and Gerard Malin's 20, this year you might be able to run one blitz 3 or 4 times a game sporadically. You can't even run them in a row. So I guess the question I have for you is, I haven't labbed or played with you in a while. Do you still play a blitz-oriented game, or have you had to change your game to adapt to Madden 13 defensively?
When the game first came out, of course, I was blitzing heavy like I did last year. And then I was finding out that wasn't working. So I started to evolve into playing max coverage, and that works to an extent. But what I kind of found out was that this year you need to really take advantage of the fact that certain defenses look alike. So everybody says, you don't want to zero blitz because it's so easy this year to get beat deep, and that's true. It is easy to get beat in a zero blitz, but if you base a line and press on a zero blitz out of some formations, 46 nickel, it looks exactly like cover 3. And we know that cover 3 is probably the most popular zone. So if the majority of the time you're running cover 3, and you can get in your audible a zero blitz that looks identical to your cover 3, you can really catch somebody off guard, especially those folks who like to no huddle. So they'll come out, they'll run a play, they see that you're in max coverage, you give them the same exact look, except you got zero blitz. So somebody's going to get in, for sure. You don't have to worry about it's not coming, or it's going to come. And if it's unexpected, you can get the sack, force a third down, which is also, or a fourth down, which is also good about league play, is that third down is an important down. Online, it really doesn't matter because people will go for it on 4th and 21.
It's true stuff. MVL, you you can thank me now because that jewel that Open Show just dropped on you about defense, I know some of you, if you're smart, are going to take that and run with it because it's good stuff. So you guys can all thank me now for having that man drop that jewel on you. I definitely couldn't agree more with what you said.
Yes, so you can't play like last year. Now, last year I zero blitz. My zero blitz was my base play, and I just dared somebody to go deep on me. Now this year, no, I can't run a zero blitz every single down. But the goal is to confuse you and to make so you don't know when I'm going to zero blitz. And I think that's the key to this year. You have to take advantage of that people typically are not trying to read defenses anymore this year because it's hard to do. So what they do is they're either going to stare down one receiver to tell what the coverage is or try to make a after snap read. And you got to take advantage of that. And like I said, if all your defense looks the same and they're trying to make a post-snap read, it's too late for some of these zero blitzes that you can run out of 46 and nickels.
I agree, and I'm glad you mentioned that because going back to the online, and we talked about how you get to see trends in the community. I've talked about this before, and I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have the same ones. But what would you say are the biggest trends in the community on offense and defense that you see playing the amount of online rank that you play?
I would say the biggest trends on defense, of course, is max coverage. And on offense, I would say like inside streaks and this FL screen. And that FL screen, that can be a tough play to stop for sure. But that FL screen is getting a lot of popularity recently. And I would just say screen plays in general can be deadly.
You're 100% right. I would definitely, and like I said, I've touched on these before too. You hit it, the biggest one, I think maybe earlier. 2 tight end sets, streaking both for the tight ends. You're 100% right. That flanker screen, especially out of double zone formation, that's big. From time to time, I'll see cats that will take this whole full house scheme and run with that. And basically, the run blocking in that full house is nasty. And a lot of times, they use both of the back and the tight end out the field with that 2 tight end streak seam play as well. So when you mix that with that full house, the runs out of it, that's been pretty devastating. Screens, like you said, period. Run plays. It's very rare that I see anybody run up the middle due to the Infinity Engine. So definitely over the outside runs, in particular the stretch, off tackle. Those 2 runs, I mean, if anybody runs the ball, they're basically going outside. They're going outside, and if you can't defend the jumbo set, you can't defend that stretch, you can't defend that power hole off tackle, it's going to be a long, rough day because the draw is nowhere near as effective as last year, so that's another big trend that I'm seeing right there. And also, last year, I think you ran it as well. Strong close was everybody's run set. This year, I'm noticing that pretty much everybody's running out of the power I sets. I throw, I type pair. So when it comes to runs, just know that they're going to be outside runs, off tackle, jumbo, stretch, zone block, a lot of zone blocking run plays, and you're mainly going to see it out the I form. So what big trends on defense have you been seeing in the community?
Well, what I noticed is that for my defense, and the reason why I started incorporating more blitzes, is that I think people almost expect you to drop into max coverage every time. So what I've been noticing is that, and this is another thing that I don't like about Madden 13, is that after you audible to a play, that you can't show blitz immediately. I think that's a problem. So sometimes you gotta really go in the lab, and you have to find a blitz that is a solid blitz that requires that you don't have to show blitz. And having blitzes, like I'll tell everybody in the league, every single one of my audibles is some sort of blitz, because I'm not going to come out in a blitz. I'm obviously going to come out in some sort of man or cover 3, cover 2, something like that. But I love for people to no huddle and just catch them off guard. And I mean, I love to see somebody no huddle.
You know what my favorite thing is? And I see this with people that no huddle a lot. And I don't know if it's me, but I think it's one of the stupidest things ever. When someone no huddles you and you blitz them and you sack them, and they no huddle right back again. And I think this maybe has something to do with momentum in Madden. But you ever notice when after a sack somebody no huddles, they get sacked again? I don't know if they think that maybe in their mind their thing is, well, I got sacked, but I seen the dude open, so I'm going to hit him this time. Not knowing that you know that dude's open, or maybe they think, well, okay, well, I'm going to audible out of that play and get to something else. But inevitably, when you get sacked and you know huddle, you get sacked again the very next play. It's almost automatic. I don't know why it is, but have you noticed that?
Yeah, I have. And a lot of times what people do is they're like you said, they'll say, oh, I see somebody open. But a tactic that I used to use in Madden 12 is that if I'm blitzing you, I ran the blitz so many times that I know where the person that's open is too. So that's where I'm going. I want you to throw it over where you think that guy was open. And I guess a lot of times people will back out of the blitz, so they'll blitz, get sacked, and then the next play, since it's maybe 3rd and long or something, they think that the person's going to go and change the play to a max coverage play. No. If it works and you saw a streak open, I saw it too. I'm looking around too, just like you are. Yeah, so I'm going to run the same play.
You're 100% right. And a lot of times what I even notice is a lot of times people actually help with the blitz, and I think you're right about the max coverage. I'm noticing this year more so than any year, my blitzes are able to get through a lot more, because last year a lot of people always block, and a lot of times not only did they block, they left the running back in the block. And this year, I just feel like a lot of people don't even block the line. There's sometimes I send a blitz and I'm like the dude can't be blocking his line, especially after the 3rd time I hit him with the same thing. And people's reluctance either to A, block the line or keep the running back in, I think cost people. Last year, you always see people blocking lines. They kept the running back in. They motioned the running back into the A gap. And this year, it's like everybody's kind of pass happy and everybody's sending everybody out on routes, and then they're not even blocking their line. So, and I think a lot of that is what you said. They're expecting max coverage. So instead of having 3 to 4 receivers out there, hell, why not I get 5 out there? He's got 10 defenders, and bang, here comes the blitz.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's really, there's good things and bad things about this year's game. But I guess you just really got to take what the game brings, and that is the disguise of defense, and you got to use that to your advantage. And, one thing is I used to do it on offense, but you kind of want to, let your opponent go to sleep on your defense, per se. So if let's just say I'm coming out and 2-man under, and you're hitting the out route, the curl, the out route, the curl. You're going back and forth. You're moving up and down the field. You're not getting big gains, but you're moving up and down the field. On a big down or a big situation, since they've been going to that all game, you want to, again, confuse them and then take that away. So I think you have to kind of, kind of lull them to sleep. You gotta let them think that something is okay and that you can't stop it, and then take it away.
You know what? Perfect example. In my league C4, I played a game yesterday, and I never run commit. I just don't, because I feel like I can stop the run without committing. And I feel like run commit is a gamble, because if you run commit the wrong way, you're exposed, and I take a lot of pride of my defense. And my thing is, I can stop you without run commit. So I'm playing this guy, and he was a run-first guy, and he was getting 2 or 3 yards of carry, and he was content with that, and guess what? I was too. I didn't feel the need to shoot the gaps. I let him get his 2 to 3 yards. And we got to a 4th and 1, and I'm up by 7 in the 4th quarter with 2 minutes left. And it's a 4th and 1, and because he's been getting his 2 or 3 yards a clip, he was confident to go for the 4th and 1. For the first time in that game, I run committed. Stopped him cold for a 3-yard loss, game over. Because I just ate the ball the rest of the way. But you're right, and that's a perfect example of letting somebody think, hey, you can get those 2 or 3 yards whenever you want. Maybe he thought I didn't know how to run commit. I just don't choose to run commit because I feel I can play D without doing that. So now, I have a final defensive question for you. Speaking of the trends in the community. This year, more than ever, last year, the slant was over-effective. Okay? Those slants, they just killed. This year, I'm noticing that the new slant is the drag. There isn't a person I play in a play that doesn't send a drag, and sometimes even 2. No matter what they're doing, they always have them drags going across the middle of the field. So it's something that's rampant in the community. Now, as a defensive-minded guy, what would you do to stop somebody continually eating you up with drags on every play? And you laugh, so you know the time too.
Well, one thing with drags is that they're super effective against zone max coverage. Super effective. And if you know how to throw it properly, you can throw them against man coverage too. And I guess it's one of those, to me, it's one of those routes that am I willing to sacrifice stopping it? So if I'm running max coverage in zone and you're hitting drag after drag, you're getting first down after first down, 10, 15 yards, nobody's around, then I'll try to come down and stop it or change my defense. But if I'm in, let's say, man coverage and you're getting 3 or 4 yards, I'm kind of I'll let you have it. And the reason why I say that, it's just like slant outs. You have to let some things go. So if you're hitting a slant out for 7 yards, and last year, I have to let you have it until it's not beneficial for me to let you have it. So if you're hitting drag routes, you're getting a few yards here and there, I'd rather see how patient you are, because most people aren't. And how many times in a row are you going to just keep taking 3 yards? Or are you eventually going to test me and you're going to try to throw it deep even though the drag is still there? And a lot of people aren't patient like that. So they'll hit the drag, and I'm giving it to them. And then all of a sudden, it's the third quarter. They've been hitting drags all game. But unfortunately, if the score is tied or they're losing, are you still going to be patient enough to take the drag route? So, I mean, it just depends on how wide open it is. And if I was in zone coverage where it's going to be pretty much wide open, if they sent people out on streaks, I don't know. It's one of those things you have to try to bait them. You have to. So if they're sending a tight end or a wide receiver out, you might click onto the defender that's supposed to be guarding the streak, and then jump down. So it depends on how bad they're burning me with it. But I mean, some things in a game are hard to stop. Whether it's drags this year, slant outs, whatever, slants even this year. Slants can be, if you know how to throw them, they can be hard to stop. I mean, you can't stop everything. You can't be everywhere. So you got to let some things go. It's just you have to know how to stop it when you need to.
You know what, brother? Again, another jewel by you, because I couldn't agree more. And I tell people this all the time, and it's funny because I see you on certain forums in the YouTube community, and I'm on certain forums. And inevitably, you'll have that guy that asks that question where he's physically looking for a magical defense that can stop everything. And it doesn't exist. And I tell people a lot of times, the biggest key to playing defense is you need to know the weakness and the strength of the defense you're playing. To me, that's the number one biggest thing. If you're in a cover 2, you have to understand that you're vulnerable on them post-corner type plays. You're vulnerable in them seams. If you're playing man, you have to understand what routes beat man. You have to know that those outs and those curls are going to get you. You have to know that those, motion fades could be a problem. And I tell people, it doesn't matter what defense you want to play. Everybody has different preferences. You can love 3-4, 4-6. nickel, 4-3. It doesn't matter. You just need to understand what your defenses do. People are too worried about trying to find magical blitzes and money plays, and I'm like, that's not defense. Max coverage is not defense. That's a play. A defense in a scheme consists of coming out in certain base, understanding what it can defend and what it can't defend, and compensating for the weaknesses of it. If you're going to play a 4-6 cover 4, you need to understand, you got, 4 blues and you got 3 yellows. You need to understand your sides are open. You need to understand the flats are open. So, to me, as long as you understand what you're doing and where it's weak, and you can compensate user-wise to cover them areas, that's what it is. There's no magical defense out there. Everything's going to give up something. But like you said, you have to pick and choose and decide what you want to give and what you want to take. And like you said, which was genius, when you want to stop it, you need to know how. You just can't you can give something up as long as you know in the clutch that person's going to go to it, and eventually you're going to have to sip on it and stop it.
I mean, that is definitely it. Especially when you're playing in the league, you will definitely start to see somebody's tendencies come out. So, you might see somebody's hitting that corner route, constantly hitting the corner route. And then when it comes to a big down, people want to go to what they know. So if you're out there sitting on the corner route and you haven't been there all game, a lot of times you can they'll just throw it anyway, or they'll throw to a route that requires some sort of timing, and their timing is off because they were staring down another route. So, I mean, I think that's just great advice. And as long as the route that they're beating you on or that they're throwing isn't, 30 and 40 yards down the field, and they're not scoring on it. Like I said, I mean, some routes just work, and you got to give it up and hopefully make the tackle. But I think you hit it on the head. There is no defense for everything. Oh, I like when people say, I need some run defense.
Yeah, exactly.
I need run defense. I need some run defense. I mean, there's no magic play that just shuts down the run. I mean, what I learned, and this was what I learned last year, is that you have to stop the run. I have not seen anybody that was effective at stopping the run by letting the computer make the tackle. So you pick a defense, you get in the lab, and you see, okay, when I run this defense, the edges are open. Or when I run this defense, the middle for the run is open. And then you compensate going there. So, for example, people love stretch runs. People love stretch runs this year. So, I mean, there's no magic. I mean, this is not a tip or anything. But we all know that cover 3 has 2 blues. The 2 blues are going to, for the most part, take the edges away. Now, it's not going to seal the edge. And that's when the user comes into play. So if they're pulling somebody or if they're running a stretch with a fullback, the fullback should take the block from the blue zone. Now, that still leaves the running back open to take the edge. And that's when you have to come and stop it. I mean, you just got to count the numbers. Of course, I got 8 in the box in the cover 3. So he's going to be matched up. Now, if you don't come down with the safety, it's going to be a big game. And
thank you.
That's just the way it is. There's nothing magic.
Exactly. I was talking to a guy about this the other day, and I told him that. And I said exactly everything you just said. And I said at the end of the day, you got to use common sense. If somebody's on a jumbo formation, and they've got that bold line all the way to the right, you got 3 dudes there, please damn shift your D-line over, try to put a hat on the hat. I mean, because that's half the battle. You got to take care of the numbers. And it's something that, I think me and Reggie, who's engineering the show right now, I was talking to him about that. I'm a shoot-the-gap run guy. I said, that's great, but this year, with the way the run plays and everything going to the outside, if you shoot the gap run, you're done. And for some reason, I don't know if it's just me, I can still shoot the gap as good as I could last year. I just don't wrap up as well as I did last year. There's so many more broken tackles. And the angles, due to the Infinity engine, are different. So I tell people, half the battle is putting your defense in position. if someone's in that jumbo, shift your damn line to the damn strong side or crash them that way. Give your dudes half the battle. At least make them think about cutting back and having to go counter. Don't just let them line up and get out of position, out of alignment, and get ran all over. I mean, it's simple things like that that are the difference between holding somebody to 40 yards in a game and having them run for 300 yards. That's not magic. It's sound principle.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I mean, we're running, being successful running the ball or stopping the run. I mean, the game does have some random blocks here, but for the most part, it's about counting. So if you're counting and there's more people to one side, you have to realize that you're weak on the run on that side. So you have to go over there.
Exactly. But at this time, I'm going to go ahead and I can talk with you all day. But I try to not to let the shows be too long because I know the guys that like to listen to them. I don't want them to have to be like, damn, it's a 2.5-hour show. So I'm going to have to wrap it up. But is there anything you'd like to say to any of your fellow team owners, any competitors in the league, any rivals, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No. I don't like to talk too much trash. Anybody can win on any day, so that's not my style. The only thing I got out there is that I got 2 players on the block. I don't know what I want for them. Make an offer for, I got Ed Dixon and Bernard Pollard, strong safety. They are out of Baltimore. So if anybody wants them, just let me know.
You know what? Definitely, man. Hey, brother, I really appreciate you calling in and being on the show today. I appreciate the time you spent with us, and I appreciate all the advice you gave. Like I said, I mean, I think people would be foolish not to heed some of the advice you gave because it was as solid as you can give. And again, coming from all the experience you have online, ranked 400 on PlayStation, and then all the daggone league play you play, I think you're a reputable guy that people can say, yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about. He's won quite a few games. Let me listen to what he has to say. So just want to thank you out the top for calling in and giving up your time and donating those tips.
All right, I appreciate being on, and hopefully we both can redeem ourselves from last year and make a push into the playoffs.
Exactly, sir, exactly. I, like you, got some work to do, but I'm feeling good and I'm playing good, so I'm like, let's go. It's early in the season, let's get it.
All right.
All right, over show, man. Thanks a lot, brother, and take it easy.
All right, you too.
All right. All right, MBO Nation. Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We had 3 great guests. AB in Texas, owner of the Jets. Shout out and thanks to you. LHS Lancer 11, owner of the Redskins. Thanks for jumping on the show. I'm going to get you back on because we didn't get to spend as much time with you in the segment as we did O for Show. And thanks to O for Show, owner of the Baltimore Ravens, for his time and his takes. And we will see you next week for Season 4. And thank you to our engineer, Officer Reggie, for making everything happen, donating his time, putting everything together. So, MBO Nation, until next week, Ty is out.